So here in this example I have created ITAB node by using EKKO fields cardinality 0 to n. This is for LV integration, remember that. For basic LV table, first of all I have created ITAB node in component controller with EKKO fields and cardinality 0 to n, and in methods I have created execute MD. I have created execute MD. In that I want to implement select query and bind table. So first of all let us generate bind table method. The same options. You can choose ITAB node set plus table. You can use ITAB node set plus table. So you'll get your bind table method. So here what you can do is you can use your select statement. You can use your select statement and then bind the data. So after doing this, what you can do is you try to reuse the component. You have to reuse LV component here. You can give some name, LV component. I have give some description, and the actual component name is SALVWD table. That's a component you have to reuse. You have to reuse SALVWD table, and you provide some description and save it. In real time also you have to follow the same approach. So when you save it, left hand side, you'll get left hand side that component along with interface controller. So in interface controller you can see these are the standard nodes given by SAP. These are the standard nodes given by SAP. Remember that. So what you need to do is from component controller you need to transfer data to interface controller. So you have to choose controller usage. You choose your component controller. So now this is a situation. ITAB is right hand side, data node is left hand side. So whenever you use LV table, here you have to maintain external context mapping. That means you have to drag and drop ITAB node to data node here. You have to drag and drop. So when you drag and drop, this external mapping is maintained. You can see the message here. External mapping is maintained. If you want to delete, you can right click here and delete. So for LV integration, external mapping is compulsory. So select this ITAB, drag and drop on data node. So that's the important point. Drag and drop ITAB node. So what you need to do is here, now you go to view. Under view, you can create one search button. Create some action. You can create some action and you have to call the method available in component controller. And you have to call your execute method. You can use execute method. Now here, if you want to integrate LVs, you try to use view container. Yesterday I was discussing about this point. You have to use view container. So I'm selecting that. This is a view container for ALV table. So you can remember that. Now what you do is you have to go to window. You have to go to window and there is a view. View contains a view container. In view container, you need to right click here and you have to embed a view. You have to right click your view container, embed a view, and here for ALV table in real time also you have to use the same option. Last option you can see this. SALV WD table contains one table window. SALV WD table contains one table window that you have to select. In real time also same option. So you can see this now. In view container, when you run the program, you will get ALV table. So very simple. Now let us activate and test it. So here you can see here when I click on search data, you are getting the data to this particular table. You can see the data here. And the main advantage of this ALV table is you can see here there are some options in this ALV table. There is an export option. You can export the data to Excel sheet. You can export the data to Excel sheet. That is one advantage. And you can see right side there is a filter option. You can filter the data here. You can see that. So you can filter the data. If you provide 3-star, you'll get those records. If you provide 5-star, you'll get those records. You can see there are no records. You can see, you can filter the data. And you can remove this filter whenever required. And not only that, you can also sort the records. Here you can see sorting is possible in ascending and descending order. On any column you can sort the records. You can see that. You can sort the records. And not only that, you can also change the settings of this ALV table. You can change the settings. So whichever columns you want to make it visible, you can select those columns. Whichever columns you want to make it visible, you can select the columns. So remaining things you can remove if required. So you can see only few columns are available. 5 columns are available. So like that you can reset. You can reset everything. So now it will be back to normal. So this is a very basic ALV table. So in basic ALV table allows sorting, filtering, some settings as well as export data to Excel sheet. You can export data to Excel sheet. These are the very basic functionalities of LV table in WebDyn Pro. Later point of time, we are going to customize this entire LV table. That we'll discuss later. Now, let us understand how to use select options in the same example. I want to use select options in this example. So what you need to do is, first of all, inside your component, you try to reuse the component WDR select options. That's a standard component. And you have to provide some name. You can see this. One is for LV, we are reusing a component. Another is for select options, we are reusing a component. These are the standard components. In real time also, you have to use the same things. So after using select options, you have to follow certain procedure. You have to go to component controller. In component controller, there will be properties here. In properties, you have to choose the interface controller of select options component. In component controller properties, you have to choose interface controller of select options component. And this is part of procedure. And when you go to select options in attributes, you have to declare two attributes here. m_handler you have to declare these two attributes. These are part of procedure. Here I gave that in your notes. Here you can see mHandler, MWD select options. It's a lengthy procedure when you go for select options, especially in WebDyn Pro. So these are the attributes you have to create, because these things are used inside our standard coding. That standard coding is also given by SAP. In that standard coding, they are using these attributes. Now what you do is you go to WD_doInit method. In WD_doInit method, we have to activate select options component in the memory. You have to activate select options component inside the memory. So to do that, directly you can use wizard. You can directly use wizard to activate the component in the memory. Go to general. In general, there is a third option, instantiate. There is a third option, instantiate. Instantiate is to activate component in the memory. So you can choose that, select that select options component, then continue. So you have to activate that component in the memory. After that, we have to implement standard coding. You have to implement your standard code for select options and provide the data element of the field. That is important here. On which field you want to enable select options, that data element you have to pass it here. That is our requirement. So that standard code I have already pasted here. I am trying to use it. So in this standard coding, you need not worry. The only thing is, in two areas you have to change the data element. I want to apply select options on EBELN, so you have to provide that. The data element of that field you have to provide here, EBELN, and here also. So this is what you need to do. If you want to provide select options on one more field, then you try to replicate these last two lines again. You can use select options on multiple fields, so you have to replicate these two lines coding every time. Add selection field. That should be replicated. So I am applying select options on EBLN field, so you have to pass the data element of that one. You have to pass that. And here, okay, so here, after this, in search action, you have to again implement some standard coding. Before you fetch the data, you try to implement some standard coding here in execute method, and in execute method also, you have to pass the data element of the field. Say for example, EBLN. On EBLN, I want to apply select option, so I'm using that. So here, this is not required anyhow. This we are not using. Work area, don't worry about that. And here you can change it wherever required. And here, what you can do is, you can use where clause, where EBLN, you have to use in. You have to pass this one. That's it, very simple. I'm using where clause EBLN in FSEBLN. FS is our select options related, low value, high value will be stored in that one. Low value, high value of our select options given by given by user, that will be passed to where clause. VBLN low value, VBLN high value, so everything will be supplied to where clause. So let me check the syntax error. Here also you change it. Okay, or what you do is you try to use all these fields here. Whatever the fields are available, you declare one type according to this. Okay, let me use like this here. There is some problem. And in this you try to declare the fields. So I'm passing that one. Let me check. White issues. Sorry, EKKO. So you have to use EKKO here. That's a problem it is creating. Okay, so that means here this is not required. I was using a different database table. If you want to use, you can use it like this also. Define the structure and you can use it, but it's not really mandatory because we can see LT underscore ITAB is already available. So you can directly use that here. LT underscore ITAB. The mistake is with EKKO. I was using EKPO, so it is unable to recognize properly. So try to use EKKO here because these fields are related to EKKO. Remember that. So you need not declare types internal table explicitly. You can use it directly. Just we are passing our internal table, WebDimpro internal table, LT underscore ITAB. So there won't be any syntax error here. You can see that, no syntax errors. The main mistake I was doing here is, I was sending EKPO here. Just directly use EKKO. Because our ITAB is created with EKKO structure. So now, after this, what you do is, you go to Window. In Window, first of all, you have to go to View. In View, again you need to use one more view container. You have to use one more view container. This is for including select options. View container for select options. So you place it above that button. You try to place first view container above here. One view container is for select options, another is for LV table. So now you go to Window. You can go to Window. In Window, you can see there are two view containers. One view container is select options, another is for LV table. So for select options view container, you right click here, embed a view, and try to choose this one, WND selection screen. WND selection screen is a standard option that will come from standard component given by SAP. So WND selection screen is coming from WDR select options component. In real time also you have to use the same thing. So now you'll get some clarity here. So let us activate and test it. For select options, WebDimpro has lengthy procedure here. So you can see, now you can see on purchase document number, select options is enabled. So you can choose some values. You can choose some values here. So on search data, you'll get the data here. You can see that. If you change the input, so on search data, you'll get the latest records within that range. You can see there is some difference in your output records. So input is with select options, output is with LV table. So you can combine. So let me recap here. You have to use these two components. One for LV, one for select options. And at window level, you have to include these two options. That is important. And whenever you use select options, you have to implement standard code In WD-init method, you have to implement standard code. In this standard coding, just you have to change your data element according to the requirement. I'm applying data element on, I'm applying select options on purchase document number, so pass the data element of that one in this standard coding. And moreover, in execute method, you try to write these 4 lines again, it's standard coding. In that 4-line standard coding, just pass your data element again. So these things are not required. These 4 lines are required. But here, finally, in our select statement, you have to use where clause EPLN in that select option values. You have to pass it here. This is important line. And finally, bind table, that is common technique. So if you want to use 2 things, ALV and view container, you have to use ALV and select options. If you want to use it, then you have to use 2 view containers. Don't forget that. Both are not mandatory. You can use anything according to requirement. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll stop today early and I'll try to forward all these videos now. So by tomorrow you can go through all theory part and this practical part. Okay, so tomorrow I'll discuss again continuation of these things.